off with this wonderful adventure. You guys were currently in the midst of a rather peculiar game of tag. With some people whom I didn't ever think would be playing a game of tag at the same time ever. But here we are. And so I guess as far as this is concerned, I'll open it up to any specific things that we need to take care of this night, and then we'll kind of wipe screen up as we kind of go and make sure that we have everything that we need done as you guys get to Arcanon. And then effectively any plans or conversations that you guys need to have to execute in the time that you have before you have to make it back down to Brimrad for the festival and the speech, and then we'll kind of go from there. So first off, I'll open it up to you guys. Is there anything that anybody that you guys wanted to talk to this night as you guys are spending another night at the Donner Farm? This is happening a bit more than I expected.
Oh my god, can I please take a shower or a bath or clean myself?
Yeah, they have like bads that they can draw you, don't worry. Like you are in the boonies, but
sorry, you're gonna have to draw the bath yourself though.
Yeah, you will.
I'm not a fucking little bitch.
You're kind of a little bitch though.
You kind of are a little bitch.
No, I'm a male.
Ha.
I get it. And yeah, so was there anybody that you guys wanted to talk to specifically during any of this, or?
I need to talk to Etney about giving me back my fucking aunt.
Oh yeah. Good call. So yeah, at some point, like as things kind of die down, I imagine she actually like she and John probably start a big bonfire outside for you guys. Because I mean, we're gonna have a fucking bonfire. So they so while around the bonfire, you'd be able to steal a moment with her.
And then I shove her in the bonfire, and then I bring back her corpse to Arcanon.
Yes, I'm sure that. Go ahead and make an athletics check against hers.
Oh
but
no,
anyways.
I'm in the fire.
Oh no! What a dramatic twist. And yeah, so you'd be able to steal a moment with her, and what is it, Connor? What can I help you with?
Well, as I told you before, I would like my last remaining living family member back from that side.
She kind of like blinks for a second, and she gets like a look, like a really dumb look for a second, and then she smacks her forehead with her palm, and she's like, amidst everything else that we were talking about, I completely slipped my mind to mention. Of course, I fully intend on bringing her back into your custody at this festival. She'll be safe until then, and I'll make sure that you're reunited with her at that point. If we're going to be working together, it would only be right for us to ensure that our own prisoners are exchanged, yes?
What are we exchanging?
Well, in that she returns the prisoner that she took.
Oh, okay. I was like,
Yeah.
I don't know if we have anyone she wants.
You have some people, but I mean, that's also people that you probably don't have the ready ability to.
Oh, I have also
necessarily
no
free.
authority. All right. That was my final concern, actually. I'll go back to Arcanon. Arrange things as best as I can that I can get the most use out of what resources I have left before I lose them forever, and then meet you in Primrad.
Well, on the bright side, hopefully it won't be forever. We'll make this work.
Well, I was talking more of the material parts. Those can disappear forever, most likely.
Yes, I suppose that's possible. But ultimately, we'll have to make do with what we have. You're a resourceful lad, from what it seems like. I'm sure you'll be able to scrounge something there.
Oh, I have a number of ideas. Just not sure which one's gonna work.
Well, I look forward to seeing them. And well, if I was able to, I would offer you some of my people's assistance, but that might not be such a wise idea. Not yet, anyways.
No, best that people keep us as separate as possible. At least for now. I'm not gonna get stabbed on my way through Brimrad, am I?
Well, if I'm unsure if you've had an opportunity to go through there at the moment, but currently some of Colonel Orwell's people are stationed there. There hasn't been any fighting there since his peacekeeper corps has made their way down. Most of the fighting has been located around other smaller urban centers and such like that.
Connor just nods and he didn't particularly care to stay in Brimrad when I passed through it last.
I don't blame you. It's a place filled with hardship and sadness. Perhaps this can be the start of something new, of happier memories in regards to that poor Forsaken.
Oh, perception.
And with that, she'll probably bid you evening as the night begins to kind of wind down.
Yeah. I got things to put in order, ducks to line up.
Lots of ducks. Duck Togwell to line up. And yeah, during the time when everybody's kind of running about and playing as well, Rinzu.
Mm-hmm.
During that time, the Fox Lagoos, the maimed Fox Lagoos who's missing a leg, Reno, he had introduced himself. He's gonna as you're probably sitting and just kind of watching people and such, he sidles on up towards you. Is this spot taken? He says, gesturing to the area around where you're sitting.
Shake her head.
Excellent. And he'll ease himself down. You're quite the notorious Talkwell nowadays, you know.
Oh,
Oh, yes. I don't think there's a single person in our line of work right now that hasn't heard a word of your most recent plight. Our mutual friend is pretty good at getting word, let's just say.
of course he is.
You don't get the moniker Raven King without getting good at talking, you see. One of many that is accumulating things.
It's the first I've heard that one.
I imagine it is. It's one mostly used over here in Legal. In certain circles. Homage to times long past, we could say. Nonetheless, I did come for a couple of questions. If you don't mind answering. The ambassador, he says, holding up air quotes plainly, from Fanron, the one who was responsible for your transportation back here to Legala. I thought I might pick your brain a bit about what you know about it. I assume from the way that you acted, she had some kind of control over you, yes?
Yes,
And I assume by the fact that you're here now, that control has largely been broken.
for the most part.
Good. And so that other fox, Lagus, who I had the misfortune of tussling with, I assume he's under the same effect. As was that snake Lagus, yes?
Just not again. You really think we'd want to be there?
It's hard to say for sure. You get all sorts of people in this kind of business. Some people who think that servitude is the easy way out. You don't. There's a lot of there's a lot of places in situations that you can't truly comprehend without getting your feet wet and your hands dirty. It's easy to make sweeping assumptions, but everyone's situation is different. But it's good to know that if we are able to break if we're able to break whatever control she has over them, perhaps we could get ourselves a couple of other allies. That Vulpine Lagus especially. He kind of like rubs the back of his neck, where there's still like a couple of like indents from the bite mark that he had received back when they had a brief tussle. Rather effective. If we could turn that against that witch, I think that would be most fortuitous. But I suppose that'll have to wait and see.
I'm not so sure about him, though.
Oh,
He's been with her for, from what I can gather, a while.
hmm.
He doesn't even know his own name anymore.
His eyebrow kind of raises. That is troublesome. How exactly is that the case?
part of the hex that she uses.
Well. Remind me not to get any further on her bad side.
I'm pretty sure you don't have to worry about her. I've made her mad. I've made her quite mad.
Good. Then perhaps you'll fit in just fine. He flashes a smile. So how's Westland doing? I trust he's recovered from his injuries.
He's awake, if that's what you mean by it. He's not up and about.
Well, I don't imagine he would be. See, that's the thing about leg injuries. It gets rather hard to get around. I'm sure he'll manage. Honestly, it's a miracle that he survived such a large fall. He's lucky that man found him.
What man?
The individual who turned him over to our custody. I can't tell you much about them. They were dreadfully secretive, and avoided any prolonged interaction or conversation. Perhaps he was a guardian angel or something. Needless to say, it was fortuitous that he brought him to us. Otherwise, he probably would have bled out in the forest. I dare say your pet noble might be rather useful in the fight to come, especially if we're looking to stick it to Magister Blackwood. I can already imagine. I can already imagine his face when he learns that his wayward son has well, you know.
She just gives him a look.
He just smiles. So what's your excuse for not playing with the children?
Just say I don't do very well with children.
He kind of like leans back on his hands. He says, "Ah, that was going to be my excuse. I guess I'll just have to come up with another one." He says, kind of shifting his cane over. And he hops back up on his leg, and he stabilizes himself with his cane, kind of flipping it up and landing it on the ground. It's been a pleasure, Rindu. I'm sure that we'll have the opportunity to work again, or work together again, rather soon. Let's just hope that you can listen next time. Yes. And he flashes another toothy grin.
It's a glare to that.
And he'll spin on his heel and he'll make his way over to one of the others and go about whatever business he's attending to. And yeah, if you guys don't have anything else to take care of that night, the night goes out off largely without a hitch. I imagine because of the high profile people in place, there are definitely watches that are posted and such. But yeah, nothing occurs during the night or anything. And yeah, the next day comes by and Etney and the rest of the sons and daughters get their things, and they begin to they bid you guys farewell shortly before you guys are probably gonna yourselves. And as they're gathering their things after breakfast, they'll mount up on their horses and such after saying goodbye. Etney, of course, says goodbye to Richter and the others first, and she'll go to you guys shortly before getting ready to go. 4 weeks then.
Sounds like it.
I look forward to seeing you all there then. And I look forward to seeing what kind of tricks you can pull off through all of this.
I'm hesitant to admit, but I'm running out of tricks.
Well, once you run out of tricks, I suppose we'll have to rely on the people of Legala to carry us through the day then.
That we will.
Be safe, Connor. And she'll offer her hand once more.
I'll take her hand and you as well.
And she'll get up on the on her horse, and her and the others ride off. Jean, of course, bellowing out one last farewell as they ride off. And as you guys turn and gather and kind of finish gathering up your own things, Richter just exhales as she departs. And John kind of claps him on the back. See, Rick, that wasn't too hard, was it? Speak for yourself, John. But I have to admit, it was good seeing her. Even through everything. You were right, for all that she's changed, she hasn't changed a bit. I suppose you and the rest will be heading off soon too, he says, turning to you.
I'm fairly certain you'll see us sooner rather than later, though.
Yes, I imagine so. And Delia nods and says, if there's anything that you require, anything that I can help with as far as this is concerned, please, just let me know. This is quite the endeavor you're pulling off, Connor. But if anyone can pull it off, I believe you're one of the few I can think of that could. So I want to be able to help. I believe we've sat on the sidelines of this for long enough.
The three of you could stand there as well. To be very honest, all of your names carry weight.
And John like looks at the two of them and like he nods and then he's like, "Wait, you're talking about me too?"
Are you gonna leave him behind?
Well, I was gonna go. Obviously, I was gonna be there. I mean, I don't know how much good I can do standing up on a stage. Well, doing anything but taking up space, honestly.
Yeah, but numbers show.
Ah, well, I'll be down in the city at the very least. I guess we'll see what happens from there. Just don't go ask no speeches or something.
No, I have that.
Well, good luck to you. I ain't much of an orator or nothing like that.
It's fighting, except using words instead of blunt instruments or fur.
Ah, ain't the kind of battlefield I'm very good at. Let me tell you. That's why I always left the talking to Rick. I'm more of a man of action, you see? And Richter absentmindedly rubs the eye that's still a bit bruised, though not nearly as bad as it was. You needn't remind me about that, old friend. Needn't remind me about that. And Athelia will. She'll smile and. I suppose you should all be off, though. I'm sure you have plenty and more to take care of. We'll see you soon.
Yeah, I have to go rob myself.
That's a strange way of putting it, but I suppose that is something.
Well, the more I can get out without it being directly linked to me, the better off we'll be.
Well, good fortune to you, and may the 3 and 5 smile upon us.
Connor just kind of smiles and nods, and hopefully on all of us.
Yes. Hopefully. And they'll make sure that you guys have some of your rations and are well stocked for your journey back.
Rinzu,
Yes.
I'm putting you in charge of making sure we don't get mugged by raccoons again.
Innocent whistling off in the distance.
Apparently, other people can't handle it.
Beatrice giggles at that.
Definitely looking at Lynn.
And as Anna saddles up, I think she says, "I've heard of a lot of positions in my life, but Chief Raccoon Watcher is not one of the ones I've ever anticipated having before."
She does have a distinct advantage over us about that, though.
Yes, I suppose she does.
Her tail's just flicking and glaring. And there might be some swearing.
Grumbling over there.
I'm sorry I heard something around the camp.
crumbling and fangry.
I'm sorry, I had to err on the side of caution. Next time, I'll just let them raid the camp. Maybe they shoot everybody. Who knows?
You basically did.
Anna laughs again. After all this is over, perhaps you could consider a vocation as a wandering minstrel. That performance you put on was quite enrapturing.
That's amazing.
I miss my house.
And Beatrice like points and she's like, Lynn, look how you have some mud on your face.
It's a 2-week travel to get here.
Oh, it's gonna be faster now. We can actually take main roads.
I give her the finger.
And yeah, so with that, you guys will set off. Your journey back to Arcanon is thankfully without too much issue. You are recognized as you by taking the main roads. You guys are recognized a bit, even as you guys are going. But through that, you're able to you guys are able to avoid any major attention beyond that, and nothing beyond just people paying attention, and several patrols of soldiers and such. The roads are not nearly as bustling with traffic as far as like mercantile traffic is concerned. And as you pass through, you do see a number of locations that look as if they've been struck by marauding bandits or were the sites of conflict, either between rebel forces and loyalists, or between opportunists on either side. You passed by a number of other areas as you pass the light woods and prairies, through the waning winter months, as you guys make your way to Arcanon. Is there anything that you guys needed to sort out before you got to Arcanon? Plans? That.
I need to show Connor something inside my house.
That's fair. So
Hey,
first
Lynn,
stop is
how
going to be
fast
going
can
back
you
there.
move again?
I think it is.
Because somebody needs to tell George what happened.
You're asking this in plain view?
No, sorry.
Oh,
I would be asking you privately.
okay. Honestly, probably not much faster than a horse. Under normal circumstances. Gives
Yeah.
you like weird eyes.
Take the fucking opal and go.
What the fuck is this thing? Meet me at my place after.
Yeah, I'm sure it'd be exactly on time.
Also, take this thing. Points at the horse.
Yeah, I can take care of the horse.
Can you make a stealth check, Lynn, against 3?
Oh no. Oh no.
Oh no!
Wait, did I...
Oh, those are the purple ones.
Yeah, I I'm good enough at sneaking.
Wow.
So no one sees you. You do a couple of patrols and outways. So it takes you a little bit longer than you anticipated, and even with the old stone, show up with enough time that it's not gonna really much. But you guys will get back a day before spec. But yeah, you're definitely able to avoid. Nobody's going to see you or anything as you're going through the forest and such as you make a beeline back for the camp, and briefly. drop that information. I imagine Connor either just wrote a letter or just told you briefly.
Yeah,
what to
I
tell him.
just gave him the bare bones basics, like in a letter.
And yeah, he
Refused to a fucking messenger boy.
hey, I mean, that's not necessarily a bad thing. But he tells you that Shieldheart will be there, and to let Connor know about that.
All right, well, I got some catching up to do then.
And yeah, you will do so. And so yeah, you guys will get back to the manor. And if you guys have anything that you need to take care of, we can do that briefly, and then he'll get back, and you guys can go from there.
Alright, so you want me to grab the snowflake and the Brad?
In a moment, yes.
I think you're at my house still.
Yeah, because you guys are still at the house. So unless you're going up topside first.
I kind of assume he'll let me know when he gets back.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. So yeah, we could do that if you wanted.
And I'm gonna just drop Renzu off at this house, and it's B's problem now.
That's fair.
Wow.
Do you
Hi,
wanna go back
bye.
up to Arcanon?
Oh.
Okay, then shut up.
What are you gonna say though if
And yeah, and yeah, so meanwhile, I suppose, in the time that you guys have been off running about, speaking with Eddie and such, Richard, you when you got back to Arcanon, effectively you would have a couple of weeks of time that you would be able to, if you were trying to do anything specific, you could do that. So what do you think that you would be trying to do in the meantime as you were waiting for news on Connor?
So basically, I know that Connor is away on his diplomacy mission. Has the crusade been no, probably not yet, right?
It's not like it's mostly there. It's something that they have been speaking of, and so word throughout the course of these weeks, amidst the upper echelons, it becomes evident to you that that many of the higher ranking nobles and members of the clergy have begun to effectively, you know, that they know about the Manicheets and that they know about Avalon, and there's some things brewing as far as that's concerned.
And plus, as soon as Edward actually had that conversation, I assume he would tell me.
Probably, I assume so. Yeah.
What is he assuming?
That you would tell me about getting the crusade underway.
I would indeed. And Eric, in terms of that, I would help any way requested by the clergy.
Of course. And it's not necessarily like they're not. It's mostly just like red alert right now. It's not like they're preparing for a different war right now. Like it's mostly just like there's a lot of talk and such. And I imagine a lot of people have come to you and like asked you about to repeat the same things over and over again, like to them specifically asking you mundane questions and such. So, but yeah.
And I had like 15 or 20 Ptolemites that came with me, right? Like some soldiers
yes.
that were coming to serve as both representatives, but also, you know, be there to help kill Millicent if it came when the position or the opportune arose.
Effectively, they're here. Yeah, they're here to quote unquote support the war effort and to be here as a representative of Talam's interests here in Legala with you guys helping.
I would probably set them up in a barracks I could find as close to my office as possible. So probably the Royal Guard barracks or, you know, somewhere in there.
Yeah, that would be more than possible.
Get them situation. You'd probably hang out with them a bunch because that seems like more fun without all the other fun Legalans gone. Like, aren't the Shieldhearts all gone?
Yes, they are currently gone.
Whew. Huh?
Yeah, Anna
You
will be
will
coming back with him,
With who?
with Connor when Connor returns.
Right. So not. Right.
No,
But not
I,
here
I
yet.
don't leave.
Oh,
You left me
No.
behind.
I left where you wanted to be.
He
Shut
said
up.
people.
He said people.
wow.
Ow.
No, but what I'm saying is, I didn't mean to. I'm not even getting into that again. He thought it was the right thing to do to stay. Clearly, he agreed. But Connor's not coming back, right?
Not yet.
Yes, I'm on my way back.
Oh, I thought you were doing your
He's
thing.
coming
Yeah.
back first, and then he's gonna go to the thing.
Oh. Oh,
Because
okay.
nobody knows about that yet.
Okay. And hey, if Snowflake, if you don't mind, why don't you? Also, I think you were muted because I just heard you through the wall. And if
Okay.
that's okay, I don't know what you're counting on time-wise, Eric. Snowflake, why don't you actually tell me how Edward tried to tell Richard about the crusade if we have time? Is that
Sure.
okay, Eric?
Sure.
Yeah, no, go for it.
I don't know what you have planned tonight.
So,
It's not that I entirely.
I assume that when you come back, I would meet up with you. If it's on my terms, it's in our office at the castle. If it's on your terms, it's probably in a bar.
I figured probably my office.
Okay.
since
So it's
the
a
Royal
mixture of
Guard
both.
one.
Mixture of both. Okay.
There are alcoholic beverages there, yes.
It's got a mini bar.
Yes. Ah, Edward, good to see you.
So I assume you've seen some of the uproar in the capital.
Yes, I was hoping to get your opinion on the matter, though. Right now, it seems people at least know that of what Elstro did, and are both aware of
Cecil.
the Manaketh as well.
I told the do we call them high bishops or archbishops?
Archbishops, yes.
I told the archbishops about the dragon and about Alstro as well.
Well, it's good they know. Oh my god, I just saw a picture from like 40, 50 years ago of like my dad and some people at the ski resort back in the day.
I assume they're the ones who have since let it get out as far as it had.
Well, my mission,
The,
unfortunately, we convinced the Ptolemaites to stay out of the war efforts a little more. Well, when I say stay out, they weren't coming down here in force, but they sent a small detachment to kind of help keep the peace, keep a unofficially, diplomatic envoys and stuff, or officially, but more or less they're just kind of here to help me out with some things, and I'm serving as sort of an envoy. Kind of a
And-
weird thing.
And Eric, what was the Magister's
Magister
reaction?
Leon. Oh,
Well-
he's also perturbed by all of this. Honestly, it's a good assumption that most of the uproar has actually probably come from him. Almost
no,
slightly as more than the Archbishop himself.
like I'm more curious as to say public opinion of I guess opinion of Magisters, how they feel that my sister or Connor didn't directly tell them about either.
Well, as far as everything is concerned, nobody's really talking about the fact that Millicent didn't inform any about this. Just that Connor didn't inform anybody about this.
Oh, that's fine. No, it's totally fine.
As far as that's concerned, so people are curious as to why their prince didn't tell them about either of these pieces of information, specifically about the Manakeths, as word is starting to go about this. But nobody really seems like to be mentioning anything about Millicent having any prior information about this.
Strangely enough, despite my sister also having prior knowledge of this, most of the blowback seems to be going against Connor. Not my intention.
Well, they all know exactly. Your sister knows that. Well, yeah, because you would have written to your sister. That's how she knew. They all know your sister knew, and I think for her, they assume it's probably some kind of power thing because I don't know. That's what magisters do amongst other magisters. And for Connor, it's the Manicheet's probably more the secondary thing, but the Avalon thing, they think he's hiding because it's him trying to keep power. You know what I mean? That's probably why they view it more as a weakness that he's unwilling to admit that it was what happened to it. Would be my guess. Anyway, do you know when the prince is due back?
Do I know when the prince is due back?
He not particular. Probably before too long.
Days,
probably
weeks?
a couple weeks at the latest.
Okay.
I tell you that.
I have a lot to do in the meantime. I think first and foremost is to get some kind of very lightweight chainmail built for when I get punched by the shield.
What did you do?
I didn't do anything.
What did you not?
Part of the agreement with Talam staying out of things is that they wanted good faith representatives, aka political hostages. You know, like the good old days. William
Don't you miss it?
Shieldheart was willing to stay. Don't get me wrong, of course, obviously, you know, the kid would have probably gone with whatever I told him. But either way, he was willing. The rebels that were there speaking with them left a big giant lion, right?
Yeah, he was a lion log.
I keep wanting to say bear for some reason, but I'm just thinking of people wrestling bears, and I think it's because of Voltec the soldier bear. Anyway, a big lion of a man, quite literally, who will now not be actively participating in combat. And that was part of the agreement that they both will stay out, and these troops would come here to help me with a few endeavors. You know,
I think I know a good.
put up a good Talam front.
I don't know how successful he is, but I probably know a few good armor. I don't know if they'll be able to help you.
Few good what?
Armorers.
Oh, armor. Oh, I had already moved on from that. No, trust me, I've got some good stuff. Anyway, well, I've been gone for some time. You've been busy, it seems. You know, I'm not super keen on getting everybody roused up about this whole thing, but
The church had the right to know.
the church did have a right to know. Everybody has a right to know about most everything. But I think in the meanwhile, we should relax, have a couple of drinks, and work will be here tomorrow.
I know, isn't it great?
And so during the time between then and when Connor gets back, is there anything in particular that you guys want to be working towards?
Well, as I said, my main thing would be helping the Crusades. Well, church organization. And I would offer the phrase, what is it? Strength through unity through faith as a uniting mantra for our holy endeavor. And of course, I talked.
Richard is feeling more and more uncomfortable with how that's going, but in the meanwhile, not really knowing where things are going. I would just be kind of settling in and talking with. Basically, I am going to be looking for. I'd actually probably be spending a lot of time with Edward, just talking to him about the Hightowers, the family, you know, how Millicent's doing, what she's been up to, things like that. Very obviously still trying to get a little piecemeal of information together that might help make the currently planned assassination of her better.
And me not knowing any of that would answer quite as I normally do.
At great lengths and
At great lengths and in insufferable detail.
And I mean,
Right.
yeah, you'd obviously be able to provide tertiary and baseline information about what she's up to, which is mostly a lot of peace By the way,
More so her comings and goings. You know.
she has decidedly not spoken to you, Edward, about the meeting that you had with the archbishops. She's actually pointedly not mentioned that to you whatsoever.
She has not talked about the meeting at all.
Like, she's not brought up anything as far as her opinions towards that or the fact that she knew previously.
Snowflake, has Edward noticed that?
Yes, and
Have you told me that in one of our conversations?
in all likelihood, at some point in time, whether or not you're paying attention is up to you.
Eric, I'm having a conversation with Millicent.
Oh, okay.
However, I need to organize it that I can stop and speak with her somewhere. It's happening. I'm sure
Oh, yeah.
I can figure at least that much out.
At some point, you would be able to find her. It would take time, but you would be
Yeah.
able to find her.
So I would have a conversation with her, but it'd be mostly normal
Come
thing.
across to him or reading going through some papers. Ah, Millicent, fancy seeing you here.
I imagine you found her probably when you went over to see Edward with her, and you imposed upon her as she was taking care of some business before heading off to the palace.
Listen, as far as I know, she was in her home or office, and I walked in reading papers, pretending like it was an accident regardless.
Most likely. What do you want?
Oh, I've just been gone for some time, and Connor's not here. I would just like to, I like to check up with all the magisters to make sure things are going well in his absence. And I was already over here seeing Edward, and it just seemed a convenient stop.
I'm a busy woman, Richard. I have a lot to take care of, and I don't have time for small talk.
Fair enough. Nobody ever has time. Anyhow, I guess the more specific thing that I would like to directly ask you about is, I was talking with Edward, and he was telling me all about his new initiative with the church. I was just kind of curious how the magisters as a whole felt about that. So I've been, again, I think it's quite the development to be, restoring faith to the people in such a way. I was curious how the magisters were helping or how they were involved in any way.
You have never been a pious man, Richard. What investment do you have in this?
I think you said it yourself. I'm not a particularly pious man, and a rekindled flame, pardon the comparison in this case, but a rekindled flame for such doesn't necessarily do well by a man like myself. So I think it's good to keep note of these things. I mean, shit. We've already got one war going enough. We start, if religious war gets dragged into this even more so. I'm just trying to prevent too much from happening, if that makes sense.
On top of an inquest, the last thing that we need to deal with in this country is more religious zealots.
See, Millicent, I don't know where you and I kind of doing that hand motion went wrong, because sometimes I speak to you and I just feel like we get each other. Have you spoken to your brother at all about maybe tempering his enthusiasm? Because he certainly doesn't listen to me. He's a little too crotchety for that. Well, not about matters such as this.
Millicent stands up. Allow me to be quite frank, Richard. I don't need you coming into my home and telling me how to deal with my family members. I am well aware of what my brother has chosen to do. And I'm already putting motions in place to deal with.
Oh, sorry, I apologize. I was in no way telling you how to handle your family. I was just trying to figure out where everybody was at. Like I said, one of my jobs is to keep all the magisters happy. Obviously, as you know, I'm terrible at that job, but I attempt it nonetheless. But either way, I'm just glad to know that you're taking the actions that I'm not capable of taking to help in this endeavor. At that point, I'll give the appropriate bow, kind of make my way out, unless she seems to want to stop me more. Like, you know.
No, she makes no motion. But as you bow, you see her eyes flick over to the corner of the room.
I would probably, like, coming out of my bow, turn in the direction that would allow me to look that way as I came back around.
She, in a swift motion, she whirls her staff around, and some of the papers that are not pinned down by paperweights or tomes kind of flutter up as she arcs her staff in a swath through the room, and you watch as a thin blue line from her, and it runs across the floor and up around the walls and up the ceilings,
Like the whole room?
the whole room. And for a flicker of a second, she does, like, she spins this in the opposite direction, like you're at the door, and she does it in towards her study. And for a flicker of a second, there's a shimmer in the far corner of the room, and it's on.
Where she told me to look.
Oh no, where she looked, yeah.
And where I looked?
And I imagine where you ended up seeing it well.
Actually, at that point, I turned off Magister. I pray I've not offended. Usually, I do not get to see such plays. Usually, I assume somebody's presence after some slight I have carried out. Is everything okay?
She, like, as you're saying that, she just holds her hand up in your direction. And she walks over towards where you saw the flicker. Someone thinks they're clever.
Mm-hmm. I kind of do the, I point it where that was and do the finger over the lip, you know, and go, many people think they're smart. Yeah. I hope you enjoy your night. I will then remove myself from her presence as she would. Man, I really didn't think there'd be a point in the campaign where I started liking Millicent more than I did.
And she does not bid you farewell as you leave. As she is very, very intrigued with what's happening right now. She's looking into that.
I would stay, but no, I can contribute nothing.
Yeah, that's a good idea. She just probably doesn't want you there anyways. And yeah. So yeah. That's a thing. And yeah. Was there anything else that you guys would be working on besides the things that you'd already mentioned? If not, a few weeks go by as you guys continue these things, and Edward, you continue to work with the with as much as you can, providing information and telling what you know to those who ask, provided you would be doing so. And Richard, you do what you can to continue learning information about some of the other situations. As far as Millicent is concerned, she does a pretty good job of hiding her schedule. That probably quadrupled after your conversation with her.
Considering somebody listening to us.
Yes. But so as far as that's concerned, it's almost impossible for you to pin down any time that would be good to, if you were trying to do so, corner her, as she's very rarely alone, and or when she is, she does so rather discreetly.
That's fair. Hey, to be honest, at this point, I'm like less like, I'm almost like, man, did I make a mistake wanting to kill her? But then I'll probably have a second conversation with her and be like, oh wait, that's why.
And I mean, that's fair. As far as she's concerned, you're a bit of a nuisance of an individual. But as far as that's concerned, so a few weeks go by, and Connor, you guys get back, and so
Oh boy, I can't wait to be interrogated.
If I got any kind of word they were coming, which considering we probably have scouts out around the city.
Also, I was not like hiding my return.
okay, that's what I
then
was
would
about
be
to
there
ask.
waiting at the gate, and I imagine Edward as well.
If I know beforehand, indeed.
And so as you guys are making your way to meet up with Connor.
Addendum: Rinzu, Lynn, and Beatrice probably aren't with us. Like,
No, I
Well, I'm
imagine
a
it's
day
just
behind.
yeah,
Beatrice and Rinzu probably split off already.
yeah. They're probably down at the at Lynn's pad.
Okay, I wasn't sure if we were meeting like on the upper or lower city.
Yeah, I imagine you'll probably meet them out at the teleporter. And so as you guys are heading towards the teleporter, shortly before you figure Connor's going to be there, you hear a voice from one of the brightly lit alleys. There's not a lot of dark alleys here in Upper Arcanon. Most of the place is rather well lit. I think we've got some biz to take care of. Ain't that right, Captain Tonight?
I'm sorry, not familiar with who you are.
And stepping out from the area, flicking the Wayne's thread into the ground and crushing it into the white stone. Don't play dumb. You know damn well what you are.
I will admit I don't have a clue.
No, I personally know exactly what it is. So hold on, involved. Snowflake, this is something I did.
Okay.
I assume you've got my payment,
I
yes?
know what you've been told, but clearly too old to my son. Oh, not who I thought you were. I apologize. Not familiar with what payment. A lot of people seem to expect money from me sometimes, but I'm not the Imperial Treasurer.
Is that right?
I mean, yeah, a lot of people ask me for money. My memory is why I supposedly owe you money.
His eyes dart over to Edward. I can remind the whole damn city if you like.
I mean, can at least Edward. He's shit. If I'm paying you anything, he'll be the one to manage the numbers.
Going to have an oblivious look on my. Well, yeah, oblivious.
Yeah, I'm just saying you'll manage to go ahead and let you know.
Why don't you let her know? You like acting so smart. Why don't you inform caretaker here?
Caretaker. I mean, maybe at first.
I haven't taken care of him, and
I don't fucking care how long you've been.
Edward, was Snoke actually with us on that expedition?
Yeah,
I
he
was.
He was.
He wasn't involved.
Correct.
This is one of the mercenaries that was there when we were looking for Elstramaria's mother. Remember when she got away?
Oh.
And I think this
Am I about to learn how she got away?
Yeah, I think he helped her get away and wanted money in return. Right?
Well, that's about typical.
Wasn't that your involvement? You helped her get away?
He grins. His smile kind of like a little bit tar-ridden and yellowed.
And how much does he owe you?
I don't know.
You can spin the story however you like it. If I don't get my 200,000, or how much was it? I think it was 100,000. Sorry,
Yeah, and I gave him a bit up front to.
a small amount. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I gave him like 5,000 up front
Yeah.
as a show of faith. But that's all. It was.
If I don't get the rest
we had
of
a
me,
bunch.
if I don't get the rest of my payment, it ain't gonna matter what you tell them. But your little princeling is gonna have some more problems to deal with. What if you don't make good on your end of the bargain, Captain?
Let me run numbers. Let's see. Prince Connor has plausible deniability. Obviously, I am an agent of his, but I am well known to have a past connection with Elstra, so people could probably say that's why I assisted as well. So at the very least, I could probably take most of the blame upon myself, but still nothing I want. But I guess at the end of the day, I would like to keep to my word on things. Where are we meeting? Where is this guy, by the way?
In an alley, and I assume.
Like, just as we were heading toward
Yeah,
the gate,
absolutely.
this guy met me and Edward and the small detachment of Royal Guards.
Yeah.
I suppose what I'm inquiring is, assuming any services were bought, what's the guarantee of delivery? If you understand my meaning.
You're asking, how do you know I ain't gonna go and tell after I get the cash?
Both that and what actual proof might you have, because to be frank, any kind of recording magic could be entirely illusion based. Prince Connor's quite good at them himself.
Aye. So I reckon, as you recall him discovering an illusion spell that was causing her to be invisible.
I'm aware. I may not seem like I'm here often, guys, but I at least remember what I'm involved in.
Oh, yeah.
Especially when I promise sketchy people money.
I've got no reason to sink your prince if I get what I'm due.
Right. And I get that. It's not really your business. I'm just asking what. Assume we give you the amount you're inquiring about. Well, actually, better yet, let's assume we don't. What's to stop me from just having these royal guards here arrest, kill you, detain you in whichever way we need to for coming up in, I don't know, treason? Don't get me wrong. That's pretty far from my mind. You've come up quite politely and spoken to us. I would just like to know what kind of scenario you think you have that gives you this sort of leverage to ask for that amount of money.
You must be new at this. If you think I'm going to reveal my hand just because you asked politely and because you flashed a couple of swords around.
True. I'm used to dealing with drunk pirates. Anyway, I assume these things are. I don't know the magic in the setting, but Edward's a bureaucrat that's been in the business in like an eternal amount of time. Edward, blood contracts. Thing we can do, right? I'm assuming contract. I'm just
They
spitballing
are-
here, but maybe
They are,
contract-based
yes.
blood sniffer that the person will die if they buy the contract.
Those are indeed a thing that exists.
Okay. I would like to any agreements I may have made and keep with it with you. If you're willing to sign a contract saying, like you said, it's not. I see why you would be afraid of signing it. I will have Edward here so that you can take to an Imperial bank and get your money. Is that agreeable to you?
So you're looking to bring me into a blood
Why?
contract.
Just specifically based on the terms of our previous arrangements. Nothing more will be expected of you other than honoring what you've already agreed to. Just one of those things you do when you make these more official.
I'll sign your bloody contract. As long as you do one too.
I'm at least listening.
I won't be telling no one about what happened. And you don't try and be as smart as you like to think you are. If you cross me, you're a dead man.
You're saying if I don't get you official notes or try to do anything against your person. Because to be fair, I would like, if I'm signing a blood contract, I want these in more official terms. As long as I do not instigate either giving you fake notices to get you your money or do anything that would harm you or your person. That's the agreement here?
That's precisely right.
Okay. I can get behind that. Edward. You have the contracts?
I do just have one tidbit of question, since this is a rather large sum of money.
Yes.
What proof do you have that he hasn't already given the information up to other parties?
Fair. What I kind of figured is somebody wouldn't come this up front without basically saying some kind of condition of if we just stabbed him dead here, then the information will get released regardless. So it's probably distributed in some way. But that would also mean his immediate death at this point.
I'm just saying that if we're gonna do the contract, why not add a little blurb in there that if, say for example, he had divulged the information beforehand, it is null and void.
Well,
Idea.
his life would be null and void.
Well, fine. Add it to yours that you are free to get recompense if, say, he already divulged.
Oh, if he breaks the deal, I don't need to get recompense.
Okay.
Am I understanding how the blood deals work correctly, Eric?
If you word
Generally
them correctly.
speaking, yeah.
Are you willing to agree to that
Addendum.
addendum? Thank you, Snowflake.
This
Basically,
information gets out from me in any way. Past, present, or future. Then I ain't got no problem with that.
Is that fine with you, Edward?
Provided you don't renege on your bargain.
No. We'll just have to not recruit any Imperial Guards for a while because we're going to have to find this money from somewhere, and I find Edward's going to pull it from us, so no new boots for anybody anytime soon.
Your deal. Your payment.
Yep. All right. And after Edward draws up the contract based on what we've agreed to, let's see, past, present, or future is already covered. Wait, sorry, hold on. We're agreeing that I won't come after you of anything related to this deal. If you then go and kill someone in my family, I will come and kill you. Understood?
He smiles. I don't think that should be a problem.
Yeah, I figure after this we'll probably never see each other ever again. Just wanted to make sure that you don't think you get a free pass on everything forever. Just
That's the idea.
Also, I'd willing to bet that your mother would kill him first.
Yeah, but I've got little siblings.
Yeah, no, I'm sticking with what I've said.
Fair. Okay. Then if he signs the contract, I'm willing to sign the contract, and I assume Edward also has a way to write up the notes that he can go to the banks and get those that money drawn out.
Yeah, and Baldwin himself is also a dark mage, so he can help generate the seals that the contracts are under. And yeah. And he, after all is said and done, there doesn't appear to be any fishy business on any of the things that he has to. And I assume you're not trying to sneak anything by him.
I feel like Richard has this reputation as like a sneaky, slimy businessman, but he's just kept everything he's promised.
I'm just saying. And so yeah, he'll, after everything is said and done, so you're basically funding this straight, correct?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to shuffle it around so that it comes actually from budget. But long
Well,
story
it's not
short,
that big. Well, I don't think you could afford to cut the entire required budget, but I hope I can convince you to space it if that makes sense to anybody.
yeah.
Well, needless to say, he's leading with the with the notes for all this money. And yeah, a pleasure doing business with you, Captain.
Enjoy your life of luxury to get the fuck far away from the city and not have any intended reparation, just with how things are going.
Given the status of all the fucking nonsense what's happening around here, I don't intend on sticking around much longer. Have fun with your crusade, old man. And he'll give you a nod, Edward, before he turns and departs. And he, with that much money in pocket, he might just fucking bounce. Like,
That's the point where adventurers say, you know what, I think I'm good.
yeah, like when you make that much money, he might just go to Okeanos and just invest that and just turn it into more money.
You know we're going to have to come up with a better cover story than I don't want to
Cover
say
story
office
to
spacing.
Cover story to explain it to who? Connor? He already
No.
knows.
Well, figure.
The other magisters?
Yes.
You know how much money gets lost in the Imperial budget every year?
Do you
Way
know
more
who-
than that.
Well, one, you're not wrong. Two, I know one of them. And it will not go unnoticed.
What, 90,000?
I thought it was 95.
Well, sorry.
If anyone
realize
has a
we
note,
You realize we lose, I assume, millions in the Imperial budget just gets lost every year? Like, out of character stuff, like, weren't you just telling me about the Pentagon the other day, and we have fucking computers nowadays?
yeah, the Pentagon, I think it was the tens or hundreds, I don't remember.
Needless
but-
to say, this is still money, and it's still being withdrawn.
Yeah. I assume he's got the fucking sense to not pull it all out in one thing. But maybe I'm mistaken.
I'm assuming he doesn't have the same.
Yeah, fair point.
Because, again,
Either
it doesn't
way-
blow back on him. They're valid. Blows back on...
Exactly. He's got no fucking reason not to.
Well, regardless,
yeah.
I had to do it because Connor needed this. Because, unlike some people I've made an effort to chaperone, he seems to care about how things affect the people around him. And he didn't want his sister Elstro to be hurt by her mother getting kidnapped, regardless of what she's done since.
And speaking of Connor, you walk out of the teleportation axis building, and you see the two of them.
I just sat down.
Hey, that is a good thing. So yeah, you and Anna Shieldheart and Ophelia.
Ooh. Prince, it's good to see you.
Oh, you're already back. You and William.
Good to see you, Highness.
You wouldn't say that.
I know.
No,
Good to see you.
not you.
Oh. Yeah,
Oh,
Brent,
you
you would not
How-
say where's William?
How did everything go?
Thankfully, things were resolved peacefully. Not as things went smoothly and quickly, but not as well as I would like. And I really hate to do this, but I was trying to hold this, but I think this is going to be long. I really need to go to the bathroom before we get into this conversation.
Damn it.
I feel as though you should at least go in without being terribly blindsided by the Magisters.
Why would I be blindsided by the Magisters?
The Archbishops and Magisters know about the the dragons and someone and Alstro in the book.
Oh, so they got it from spies, right?
Well,
That's
no,
where they
I
got
told
this information.
no, I told the archbishops flat out about the dragons and the other thing. Oh, and for some reason, despite her prior knowledge to
Okay, I'm really sorry about
I don't know
that.
about them both, but at the very least about the dragons. Millicent is not getting any blowback. Only you are.
Well, of course she's not.
Okay, sorry about that.
It's all good.
Yes. Was anything said while I was actually gone?
He was just telling him about Avalon and the dragons.
Oh, like informing them that the archbishops are aware.
Yeah.
Yeah, he can't keep his mouth shut. Yeah.
Yes. To be frank, Prince, things are rather grim in the cities at the moment. In the city, I don't know why I said cities.
Because
I
there's a
guess
city underneath us.
Hey,
Yeah.
you're right.
There's indeed a city underneath us.
Maybe the conversation should be. Maybe it should be handled somewhere a little more private than the main way in and out of the capital.
Lead the way.
Of course. And I'll motion for the royal guard to kind of start the procession.
Yeah. And you'll make your way through the Radiant City and all of that, and you'd be able to get back to the palace and get to a place that's safe to speak.
Well, I suppose I should report before inquiring about how things went on your end. I met with Malcolm Ross, and when we got there, there was already, I believe, Rainyard was their name.
Yes.
There was a mage named Rainyard who leads a small group of the rebels who was already up there negotiating Malcolm Ross. Lion wrestling with him, and
Wait, Raynard?
yes, I believe that was his name.
Oh wait, I don't know that information. Never mind. Move on.
I guess
You guys you can make like an underworld check to try and see what you know about that.
You know what? I feel like I'm gonna log in because I feel like I'm gonna need to do some rolling here real soon.
Might not be a
I'll-
bad idea.
But
Sure, I'll make
would you go ahead and roll my underworld or whichever roll in the meanwhile, Eric?
Yeah, underworld would be the role.
I don't know if I actually had put knowledge into things. So
I don't think I had it either.
Nope.
I didn't.
I got knowledge in other things.
It's against 3 difficulty.
Do I still have cunning, or did I just make Richard slightly more likable?
You made him slightly more likable.
Damn.
Connor, you know that one of the names that the shadow leaders of the Council of Vermin go by is Reynard. Nobody knows Reynard's identity, or if they are more than one person. Though what information has been gathered would suggest that it's a name that's shared by multiple people.
Have I been informed by Connor, or like I read the player, I don't really know what they are, but Richard at least has been informed in some level of what the Council of Vermin is.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a criminal organization that is helping to fund the rebellion effectively.
Okay, thank you.
That's like the information about that.
Did I succeed in my role, Eric? No.
No, you did not.
But
That's
I
fair.
did.
Good work, Brent.
And I
Yeah,
don't
I
think
know
I have.
those things.
I think I have any knowledge.
Seem to be representing the rebels.
One of the potential council or members of the Council of Vermin.
I was
You got
not,
the same exact result, Edward, as
Yeah.
Connor did, so you know this thing.
I was not aware of that, but good to know. There was basically the agreement was they would help some small not Ascension. Ascension's a Zodiac.
Yes.
Our Arcanon?
Arcanon, yeah.
I was just ascension because it's in the air. Like, a small detachment, maybe from Plum, came back with me to Arcanon, serve as, in some capacity as ambassadors, as per their agreement to stay out of things. And how to put this? And then not looking at Connor, looking at Anna. What they asked for in return was that both a representative of the rebellion and a representative from Legala to stay as representatives of sort.
Her eyes widen a little bit.
Young
You
William was willing to stay.
She kind of her mouth kind of closes.
Richard reaches for a sword. No. How old is William again?
14?
14.
Yeah.
Okay. Ooh. It was the only way to broker the agreement. He was willing to stay, and basically what'll happen is he'll grow up right around the standard bearer of Talam and get some of the finest military schooling he could possibly get, while still being safe. At least 90%. Probably safer than he is here, to be frank. Ooh, I don't want to know what that role was.
It's
Permission
a
to
failure or
speak.
whatever.
Permission to speak freely.
That was Anna.
Yes.
Is she looking at me or the
Yes.
prince? Yes, always.
What the bloody hell were you thinking?
I was thinking I was tasked with getting Talam to help us in any way, or at least not help the rebels in this war. And I did not want to leave William there. Shit. Probably more my brother than for sale is. No, that's... Well, just as much anyway. Point being, I didn't want to leave him there, and would not have let him stay there. I felt it was a danger to him, both physically and for him becoming a great person like I want him to be. He's been with us in combat. He's capable. He'll be all right.
Bloody hell.
And I'm sorry. Richard kind of like looks down, like runs his hand through his hair a little bit, like I can't explain the expression, but I'm doing it right now.
Can you make a charm check real quick? It's going to be against 3 difficulty, upgraded once.
So it would be
Yeah, 2 purple and 1
then.
red. Yeah.
Is there like a full-on mission happening later tonight, guys?
There's a speech. Technically, this is the mission.
Okay, I'm using one of our light side points. We have a bunch. I just didn't want to like screw over an entire party, but there's at least enough to get Brent through a speech.
Yeah. Well,
You can't see it, but I'm doing the praise the sun pose from the Dark Souls.
she
Is that
a triumph and a success. Yeah.
All will love me in despair.
She grits her teeth for a second. She kind of clenches her fists. And she exhales.
Fucking triumph on that shit.
You're ultimately probably made the correct call there, even if it means that my family is going to be.
And even if I still think it was, doesn't make me feel like it was the right decision.
Jason,
Nothing that I can tell you. I almost turned us back twice.
you kicked into
I still have permission to speak freely, yes.
Always.
And she punches you in the gut That's for not turning back at the time.
That has a fair number of advantages.
She kind of like a bit like, ow, that hurt more than it was supposed to.
Weren't those advantages?
Yes. But also, you are still wearing your ceremonial armor, and she's not very punching, but she's gonna do it anyways. She turns away from you for a second, kind of like rubbing. She just says, "We're even."
As far as I'm concerned, I should have turned back 20 times, so I think he's more, but or like 17 more. But I'm sure this will come over time.
She looks over at Connor and says, "I might need your help keeping track." And she kind of smiles. It's like a sad smile, but it's a smile. Let's make sure we can bring this to an end quickly, so that we can bring my brother. Yeah.
Absolutely.
My thoughts exactly.
Sir, and Connor like pinches the bridges. Is there anything else I need to know?
I'm not sure what. I think my sister's plotting something, but I don't
Well,
think that's
given
new.
any day.
I had a conversation with Millicent the other day, and somebody was monitoring our conversation with Magic.
Oh, did you? Yeah, you told them about
Yeah,
about
I told them
Kendra
about
and the Archons, right?
Yeah, I told them about the Kenderlings.
I'm trying to remember. Basically, it's like a group of like not angels, but that kind of being.
The closest thing there are to angels.
And their goal is specifically to keep the Haven trees in line, or is it to keep the church in line?
Yes.
Well, I'm saying those two things might be diverging shortly, depending on how things play out.
They're more in charge of Haven Trees than the church itself. In
Yeah,
fact,
okay.
it doesn't seem like they care about the church at all.
Is that pretty accurate, Eric? Or
Yeah, no, that's they had expressed their interests and concerns with protecting Connor and ensuring that his things are successful.
she also? I feel I should. Edward, I would ask you to not immediately act on this, but it sounds like your sister is making some kind of motions to at least keep the people's fervor in check. I don't know what that is. Maybe drastic, maybe subtle, but she's at least not super keen on the idea of this. If you go by what I've heard people calling it in some parts, crusade.
Honestly, I'd have been surprised if he was okay with
Well, I just felt I should tell you, regardless.
Well, unless she can somehow manage to capture one, I'm not too concerned.
So, Prince Connor, how was your expedition?
Oh, another failure.
Where did you go again?
I
Like,
went
out
left to go capture Etni. I did not come back with Etni.
It's true.
there? Didn't even find her, or
We know where she is, but we can't get to her. Well, we know where she's rumored to be, at least.
too defensible, too hard to get at? What?
Neutral zone.
Not exactly a great place for. Well, you would think being the middle ground would be a great place for discussion, but it's usually hard to get a man across with a flag to get to talk when people are, at each other's throats. Like the tensions can be there. Anywhere, my prince. Where do we go from here?
Well, it sounds like I have a magister meeting I have to attend at some point.
Unless you just dip.
I would just like to appropriate that statement, and that is what Richard's response was.
Oh yeah, no, totally. Like that could be. Yeah, just you say that instead.
Chance that could be more devastating than not attending, or than attending.
Wait, has General Shieldheart been here the whole fucking time? Like in the city
No.
I've been?
No, he's out.
Okay, that's fine. I just would have felt real shitty if I did not stop and inform him of the situation with his son.
No,
Like,
he
you know,
was in the opposite direction of you, actually.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. I just want to make sure I wasn't being a shitbag in that regard.
I saw your mistake, Steph. I saw your sin.
Assume there was a misspelling.
I also need to meet with Daisy at some point shortly.
I don't remember who Daisy is out of
Me
character.
either.
Spy
Spy
Master.
Master.
Oh, okay. Oh, of course.
And I have to meet with Beatrice, Lower City.
I definitely don't have a lot of days to spend here. You probably have just shy days. We'll have to get going or get there in time.
And then Richard, we need to talk later.
My friend, you know I'm always at your beck and call.
I'm going to roll my eye and walk away from you.
Would you prefer red or white for the meeting, sir?
Both.
Man after my own heart.
I'm going to go back to the palace. I'm going to drag Anna with me.
Anna's being drugged. She seems a little bit perturbed, by the way.
I absolutely understand.
A little mad. but
I
it's
do
okay.
have something I'd like to talk with Richard after they leave.
Oh.
Well,
As we're walking
the
to our
tickets
respective locations.
Yes.
So let's go with Connor and Anna first, and then we'll hop back to you guys.
Yeah, we've had
Thank-
Richard Edward good time. Get them in
We
there.
have. We have.
All right, back at the palace. When I'm actually alone, I'm going to call for Kendra then. Man, that's weird.
That is.
I
And-
mean, just look behind you.
And so as you guys go, Anna looks to you and quietly asks, Connor, are you planning on telling either of them about what you're intending on doing?
Potentially Richard. And then Richard needs to get back to Lom very quickly to get somebody else.
This is turning into a mess.
Well, I didn't think it would be easy.
And so yeah, you guys get to the palace, and once you guys return to a quiet chamber in which you know that you will not be disturbed. Anna has not met them yet, right? And so
I don't think she has.
so as you guys go in, she's, what are we? And then there's just Kendra's voice just comes from the back of the room as former Magister Kendra emerges from the echelons of the palace. Thank you for your punctuality, Connor. There are things that we need to discuss.
There most certainly are.
And I think Anna like spins like almost hand naturally gravitating down to her blade at her hip. And she, after she sees, she like looks to you and looks at her and is like, weren't you missing for a while? In a sense. And she like immediately turning her attention back towards you, Connor. Like Anna's still kind of flabbergasted, just kind of clamps her mouth shut.
She's not a human or a shifter.
Oh, okay.
Her
I-
and the rest of her kind can only physically manifest when there's a haven tree.
I suppose I'll have to take your word for it then. Even though that's, pardon my harsh choice of words, fucking strange.
Connor just kind of smiles and shrugs.
My God, do I love
And Kendra, a slight smirk comes on Kendra's face, which quickly vanishes. We have been watching, and we've discovered a number of things. Yes, regrettably, while we were keeping a close eye on what she was up to, she was able to detect our presence. We were able to depart before she was able to apprehend us. But she has been on high alert ever since. It may be difficult for us to learn more information, but if we can do so safely, we will continue to do so. That being said, we were able to learn some valuable information before we left. On their subtlety check, they failed, but got a triumph. So with that triumph, you can learn. You know how a character has 4 motivator, a fear, flaw, and a strength. You can learn one of those that Alyssa has. So you can learn either her desire, her fear, her flaw, or strength, and information gathering stuff.
Hey Brad, secondary opinion.
fear, flaw,
Really?
what was it? Fear, strength,
Desire, fear, flaw, or strength.
I feel like probably I think the thing I'm most interested in is strengths. People's strengths. I think I would write her. This is like the thing I least care about.
Yeah, desire is something we practically make, you know?
It contributes the least. We don't really want to know what she. If it's between, I would write a fear because flaw isn't a weakness. It's in that like I think fear is more of a motive. You know what I mean?
Yeah, okay.
That's my.
Hers is her fear.
Kendra can explain things that she noted throughout the rest of this. Judging from the way that she carries herself, the way that she operates, it was easy to determine what circumstances would constitute fit as far as she was concerned. And fortuitously, our discovery has revealed further information as far as things are concerned. Judging from her routines, Millicent is a creature of habit. That much is plain. That much has always been. As such, one of her greatest fears is that of change. It is not hard to understand how any drastic transformations that you would put into place would be against what she. That said, beyond that, there was the way that she reacted, both during and after our discovery, showed a primal fear that well deep within, preparing the way, exemplifying. It is clear that Millicent has much to hide. We have had much time to watch humanity. But perhaps never before have I seen a human who fears death as much as Millicent does. The drastic shift in her schedule, the heightened paranoia.
That is indeed useful, actually.
Has
If you
Yeah,
so
it's-
desire, we can try and discover more information about this.
That seems risky. If she's able to... Actually, how is she able to discern your presence?
Those who are potent magically may be able to detect our presence, given certain circumstances. Especially if we make our perceptions more potent, so that we can hear, so that we can sense, so that we can feel. The subtle fluctuations can be sensed by those of powerful magical potential.
Could it also have something to do with whatever the High Towers do that makes them appear young?
It is hard to say for certain. What I do know is that Millicent is a powerful mage. Whatever strength she holds within her is potent enough to detect us, even on the most subtle of fluctuations, if the circumstances are correct. That much is known.
Watching her would be far too much of a risk then. It would only be a matter of time before one of you is caught then.
Then we shall do so from a safe distance, without making any of our presence, and with minimal risk to us.
Is there anything else that's been happening in Arcanon I should be made aware of?
Beyond the fact that it does not seem as if the Magisters have any intention of following through with granting you precisely that which you desire. Much has been as it is.
That was exactly what I thought would happen.
Especially with your unsuccessful venture with bringing Etni back. I do believe they will take whatever opportunities they can to undermine your plans.
Well, it's a good thing those have shifted fairly significantly.
Oh,
And I'm going to relay pretty much like the basis of what I'm doing.
I see. We still retain enough energy where we would be able to maintain contact with you, at least for a limited period of time. But the majority of us must stay here in Arcanon. What would you have us do in the meantime? It may be some time before you're able to return, as it seems. One thing is for certain. Millicent's talents are deep within the city. It is of no surprise to you that during her conversations with Magister Leon, she was able to placate his concerns very, very easily, and turn any semblance of blame towards the lack of desperation of information towards you, and not towards herself. Though interesting, I'm certain she will take this opportunity to levy Edward's chaotic crusade against, or to her advantage. It seems as if bringing such information to the foreground was not among her plans. Curious
Slow
indeed.
enough. Well,
Would you be able to disrupt her plans?
Did you have a specific way in mind?
She must have under her thumb failures among the littler ones under her that will at least slow her down.
Kendrick grins a bit. A sound plan, and it shall be done.
The other thing is you need to pull out as many resources while I have authority to do so.
That could be difficult to do without attracting attention. In what way are you attempting to do this?
The more obvious plans, a robbery of sorts. But in itself will be difficult, and still, it's just they can break into a royal treasury and only take.
Suspicious indeed.
No, I'm not sure exactly how to. Versus others noticing.
I can attempt to do what I can, but I can make no promises.
I understand. Is there any way I can get you to be able to more actively work on things?
Regrettably, our essence is bound to Arcanon. You've never been able to leave for any long period of time, and it requires energy for us to manifest outside. We currently have a great deal of energy that was collected by Laird. That energy has not yet been used up. Unfortunately, such energy is hard to come by, and in most cases, much must naturally return to us over time.
Well, I thought there might be, but
Unfortunately, such attempt could prove detrimental to your health, and for minimal return. That said, if your plan comes to pass and Arcanon becomes the foot, you will have friends here assist you. When it can try to reclaim Arcanon as it belongs. And in the meantime, we can keep what information we can headed your way so that you are at least kept in the loop as much as we can about what happens here.
that itself will be incredibly invaluable. It's actually very hard to get spies up here.
In no small part to the protections provided by this place. Not to mention, floating over 1,000 feet in the air certainly helps. She kind of smirks ever so slightly.
I'll let you know if there's anything else before I have to depart.
Fair enough. If this is indeed your plan, it may be wise of you to avoid the Magisters for the time.
Won't that in itself draw attention?
Perhaps no more or less attention than were you to meet them. that course is up to you.
The fact of the matter is, I still need to talk to one of them.
Fair enough. But I advise you to act with caution.
I usually do.
Usually. And with that, she smirks one more time, and she kind of turns, her cloak kind of spinning as she does, and as she completes the spin and walks away, there's a lick of flame that kind of cycles up and around her, and her form fades into a quick gout of fire and is gone. And Anna kind of blinks, watching this.
Not
You
quite
weren't.
the teleportation you're used to.
You weren't kidding about that, were you? You know, I suppose we are on a floating island. She just kind of exhales.
Do you think you can do me a favor?
Anything.
Could you pass the message for me
Oh,
to Magister Brock?
you wish to speak with her then?
As indirectly as possible, unfortunately. I don't know if I can arrange a meeting with her that would go unnoticed.
On point. What did you want me to tell her?
Essentially, I'm want to offer her a place with my idea.
So it's a regular coup d'etat then. This is getting more complicated and more exciting by the moment.
Such is life.
Well, hopefully she's down for the idea and I don't get myself locked in chains. If so, I'm counting on you to tell my story and to take care of Fiona for me.
You
She
mean
says with a
now?
smile. Or that too, I suppose.
I feel like one of those would be easier.
Probably probably taking care of Fiona, yes? She
He just
laughs.
kind of smiles.
I'll send word. I'll meet you down at Lynn's Manor. I don't think we should tarry in our... The longer we stay up here, the more attention we'll draw, and the more likely you'll get drawn into a conversation with Millicent and Blackwile. I don't think you want that right now.
No, I prefer to set them on fire.
More treason. Exciting. She just kind of shakes her head and she'll go to pass the message.
And then at some point, I would like to talk to Daisy, and I can cover that with you, like
Yeah.
another place.
Sneaky. And yeah. You want to talk to Richard too, right?
Yeah.
All right, so let's do that, and then I imagine you're probably gonna go hang out with Lynn and Renzu.
And we'll find out what's going on with that.
Yes.
And due to recent
you
events,
summon
I
me or
also want to
come
have
to
a
me?
talk with Richard. as
Oh
well.
yeah, let's do that real quick first, and then we'll.
I just feel like the belle of the ball.
I know, right? Everybody wants to talk to Richard.
Everyone, talk to Richard, quick!
Everyone's plotting and shit.
So Edward and I's conversation was kind of as we were leaving the previous
Yeah.
meeting with What else, Snowflake?
I will direct us towards, again, a private area.
Yeah, which you'd be
I,
able to
I
find.
would- I would invite you into my office for a drink.
Now, Richard,
Yes, Edward.
what is your motivation? What are you trying to do?
I
No
think
more small talk. No more beating around the bush. I'm going to be honest with you. I'd prefer if you'd be honest with me. Not that you've ever lied.
I wouldn't dream of it. Anyway, that's how this is going. He'll kind of like he was getting ready to pour himself a drink, stops himself, hearing the tone. Well, I feel I've always been, well, maybe not transparent, but very steady in my goal. And my goal is stability and peace. Not order for order's sake, but in Argonon, the people in Ascension, the people of Flan, the people, I want the people everywhere to, I want them to be able to just not worry about people above them unless they're needed. Does that make sense?
Yes.
My parents left Ladokianos because people in Tom were needed to do X against my father to get the Liga on Gala. My father left because people in Gala were telling them to use his mom, their prowess and treat her command, help them, and both of them to help it. And I want everybody to be able to make that decision if they need to. I don't want anybody to have to make that decision, I suppose. So, Edward, you came at me pretty hard swinging. Let's hear it.
Despite what some people may think or say, I'm not a fool and I'm not a blind. I know that everyone is plotting. I know that Millicent is. I know that Connor has something up his sleeve. And I have an inkling. I understand that I'm at the odds with quite a few of you. So I'm going to lay my cards all out on the table.
I'd be lying, Edward, if I told you the whole crusade thing didn't have me concerned, but I'll be frank, I also am of the mind that the resurgence of dragons are one of the, well, the dragons were representatives of one of the longest periods of order in existence. There's a reason I'm opposed to order for order's sake. So I at least see where you're coming from.
Despite
for different reasons.
Despite some of my best efforts, I feel as though the Empire is not long for this world. For that matter, neither am I.
What was the first hint? The execution of the Emperor, the Empress, or the multiple front civil war? Sorry, you said no small talk or play. Habit.
I also understand that many people in the rebellion are not happy with the nobles and many other things. So, and I have no doubt that Connor is also planning to do something bold, stupid, daring.
You try
So
to
this
teach
old-
kids best you can, but you know how kids are.
So this old man has come up with his own daring plot.
The crusade or a separate daring idea?
The crusade. I'm going to get myself mixed up in it. I'm going to do bad things. Terrible. I'm going to put this crusade and myself as everything that's wrong with this empire. I want to become the symbol of everything that we've done wrong. And then I want you and the rest to snuff me out.
So what you're telling me, Edward, is you want to drum up the worst of Legala to expose it out and basically give us the throat to cut, try to help the country.
Yes.
You know, Edward, that you're my When I say oldest friend, you know what I mean, and one of my closest confidants. But if this is what you want, I will make sure it will happen. Trust me. It's not hard to make somebody an enemy. You've seen the papers I've written about Elstrom printed.
I know.
You didn't ask this, but this is what I will try to guarantee in this. You and your sister, you are both going to have to go. If this is how you want things to go. But I will do what I can to keep your family as intact as I can.
Unfortunately, it's the responsibility of the old to make sure that those who come after them have a better place. I'm well aware of how distasteful she is to many.
Yes. In fact, I spoke to her about this whole crusade thing, and she seemed like she was working against it herself.
As I've said, I'd be surprised if it wasn't.
Well, Richard will kind of he'll, like reach under the cupboard he was currently like working at before and pull out and say, "Oh, this is some of your favorite, Edward. This seems the time to." But I'll make sure. I'll make sure. I'll make sure your wishes are carried out as best I can.
This is my last time we share a drink together.
You might be right. So it's a couple, just to be sure.
And yeah, you guys share some drinks. That's shit.
That's really cool, actually.
Snowflake is making people feel emotions.
And not like pity or disgust, but like the other ones.
Some of the other ones.
Hot damn. All right. So, shit. All right. So later, probably the next day, Connor, you want to talk to Richard real quick, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, so you'd be able to grab him the next day before you head down to Lynn and
Summons are coming to my office.
I'll show up at your office.
As you're arriving, I'm kind of speaking with somebody who's bringing a package. Say, yes, of course. Ah, it's Connor. Perfect. I reach in the package and pull up a red and white wine.
Well timed as usual.
Just in time. Sorry, I was
And-
hoping to take care of it last night, but I had some business to attend to.
Connor's gonna step into the room and close the door behind him. And
Wait,
he's
sorry.
definitely going to check for other people trying to magically hear things and then seal out the room.
yeah, you're good.
Well, my prince, how can I aid you?
Well, I'm going to tell you about the gambit I'm about to make.
Seems that's all I've been hearing in this office recently. Please, enlighten me.
And it's what, like 2 weeks time, or like 3 weeks time
Yeah,
at this point?
you're gonna have to leave in like 2 or 3 days and get down there the 2.5 weeks, and then it's time to go.
Last day of the year on the 5th day of, oh god, it's Asheville.
Asheville, yeah.
Roll your own mode.
I'm going to be appearing in Brimrad.
And that is the city out of character where your parents were killed, right?
Yes.
That is
On the 1 year anniversary of the day.
Yes, that is a very interesting decision. May I inquire as to why?
Because me and Etney are going to be sitting on that stage and proposing our own faction, I suppose.
Richard kind of, bridge the nose. All right. And he starts pouring himself a drink. Offers one to you as well.
I
Let's
will
get
accept
into
that
the.
drink.
Let's get into this. One.
Short of
I need to go down this line real quick before we keep going on. One. Etney killed your parents. Are you reconciling with her about this?
personally, no, but officially, yes.
You understand that by reconciling with Etney on this officially, that you at least need to leave the turns open to reconcile with your sister Elstamari as well, correct? Based on that her original crime was assisting in the murder of your parents. And if you're reconciling with Etney, that means that Elstamari should be lumped in with that reconciliation as well.
Yeah, it's a thing I had considered already.
Now, you could bring up other crimes of hers, like destroying the holy artifact of Lagala, but please, I'll ask you the same question I asked your sister when I was discussing her rebellion with her in Ascension, and she didn't really offer me any information. What is the plan? Because you have to have a plan for what's going to come.
In the short term, the plan is to pull together this faction from both sides. Pulling in all the people that don't want to actually go to war, and hopefully be able to present enough of a force that we can make both rebels and loyalists back down.
Do you have any magisters in line?
I've sent word to one of them, but Leon is a staunch traditionalist. Alexis Blackwild has a heart of coal, and Millicent is only concerned about her own survival and power.
Yeah. That
leaves
who has always been at least. He's certainly best chance. You said you gathered information about Etney. I'm assuming you have some information that she would actually go for this, and we're just keeping it clean for.
Oh, yes. I already met with her.
I should have assumed. My mistake for not doing so. Short term, get those troops together. And if Shieldheart was with you for this, I assume you have the Shieldheart. Well, if you have General Shieldheart willing, that at least includes a large part of those troops, regardless of those two.
Yeah, Connor nods.
Is the main core of this a scare tactic? Does that make sense?
That's the hopeful goal. The
make everyone
worst case scenario is that they would fight anyway.
If your whole goal is to have enough of a show of force to dissuade anybody from active warfare, based on the missives we've received in a letter from my sister Caitlin, with what Zodia is coming here with, I think you can at least convince Prince Orion to not be opposed to that. That would be quite the boon. If only his sister Estrella was coming as well, that would be quite the force of arms to be able to dissuade anybody from opposing the peace.
We don't know that yet.
Oh, we don't know she's not coming?
Oh, you guys don't know exactly how many people are coming yet. They probably have just left port not too long ago at this point.
Oh, okay. My apologies then.
Yeah, no, it's okay. They haven't
I
gotten to
misunderstood the timeline. But we know
I
they're
know
coming.
it's weird, but yeah.
Do we know they're coming?
You know that like Davian is coming, and that Orion did promise that he wanted to help in some capacity.
Okay.
But that's the best that you can really guess.
I'll rephrase it this way then. At the very least, the Mercy Brigade would probably be more inclined to help sort things out if it didn't involve killing a family member.
I would like to think so, yes. And then, of course, you ask what comes after, and that would be a rebuilt, restructured Legala. Unfortunately, this is going to be a ground-up endeavor.
What is the new head of state? Who? What position? Is there still going to be an emperor?
Unlikely. I think our best bet is to create a council of sorts, or... And I'm going to briefly describe a parliamentary system, but I don't feel like actually describing it.
That's fair.
Brent, I as a player am not familiar with how parliaments work. You need to explain that to me.
Shut up.
Basically, essentially would be most effective is to focus on the cities because, to be frank, the people in the countrysides don't have an accurate way to get their representation met. As our technology continues to advance, introduce a second house based upon people in the more rural areas, maybe the more common folk as opposed to those positions of power. Leaders of the city, call them lords and ladies, so we'll have a House of Lords and House of Commons in the long term.
Well, I mean, if you want to think about it more than I did, yes.
Let's represent.
To be fair, I have time to think about it, at least.
I was just trying to find a way to directly relate it to the British system, but well, and you're set on this? Like, you feel strongly that this is how you should handle where we're at?
I do.
Good. Because if you were uncertain, then I would have tried to dissuade you. But if you're certain, and that's where we're going, well, and that's where we're going. I do have... Your goal is to dissuade everybody from fighting, correct?
That's the big hope. I'm not confident that we can do that, though.
My prince, do you trust my judgment of Edward?
He stops and like blinks for a second, like, yes.
Okay. I can say with certainty, based on a long conversation I had last night, that under no circumstances Edward he's going to try to fire up this crusade, remove the dragon, however he needs to. He will draw high nobles into it, a motivation to assert their power, or common folk, but Edward is
Draw every enemy of everything that changed into it.
anyone who might be opposed to what you're trying to do is going to get drawn into this, and he happens. I know Edward plays Edward with his numbers, but at the end of the day, a member of the High Towers. He has every intent to see this through till the end. I will be frank, my prince. I do not look forward to having to handle it. He is my best friend. But understanding that at the end of the day, he and I are going to be on opposite side before your proposal came. He knew that he was going to start pushing to return to the faith and deal with the dragon. And me as an aspirant upstart piece of shit, not his words, mine, would be opposed to that. But he will, with his current endeavor, most certainly be against what you're doing. And I think that he is, in very short order, we are going to have to be speaking in Edward in the same tone we speak with Millicent. Maybe slightly friendlier, because he's not as much of a piece of shit, but we're going to be where we're at.
That's quite the turnaround from him, from the direction he seemed to be heading.
He was never heading the direction we hoped. He was doing it because he thought the High Towers should be. Well, you told me a little bit about those angel folks, divine folks. He was similar to them, that he believed that the Haven Tree line was still the divinely mandated, and if we're going, he is hoped about.
Connor kind of looks down a little bit. That's how it has to be this.
Yes. Leonard kind of looks down, takes a big heavy drink, and pours himself another. My friends, when do you mean to officially announce this?
To Arcanon,
When do you mean to officially announce to like period? The earliest, I suppose. Is it the day of your meeting with Etney?
It'll be the day at the rally you were at.
I have a selfish request, my prince. I know that I do think I should be there with you to protect you going into a dangerous situation, and that is my job. So personally, if you will be no longer serving as the head of state of the nation that I negotiated with, then I need to make sure Talam is on board with us to an extent, and I need to make sure the young Shieldheart is safe. Things are about to get a lot more chaotic, and I cannot knowingly leave him up there. And I apologize for asking you to allow me to shrug my duty, but I feel it's what I must do.
Connor just kind of smiles, and I hope you can bring him home then.
Oh. He will. And this might not make you happy, but I think with the agreement I'm going to be making, we might lose some of the DMZ, but, well, you're absolutely certain of the wards here, sir?
I'm absolutely certain of what? Sorry.
Of the wards.
In Arcanon?
In my office at present.
Oh, yes. I am as certain as I can get there. If there's one thing I'm actually confident about, it's my ability to use magic.
And I feel like at some point Richard has probably brought in, like, Royal Guard magic users to put similar things on.
Oh yeah.
But, that delegation from Talam I brought, which obviously is not a delegation of 15 to 20 some highly trained armed warriors, none of which are negotiators. They came here on the agreement that we were going to have a cooperative effort to try to murder Millicent Hightower because we all saw her as a problem.
Well, she most certainly is a problem, so I can't
Right.
disagree with your notion.
But what I'm saying is the Talamites agree that she's one of their biggest problems. And I might be able to negotiate them in contributing to your non-war act, if that makes sense.
That would be incredibly useful, actually.
Yes. I, as much as I hoped, will make no guarantees, but I believe if you're going to be departing soon, I should depart as quickly as possible for Talam to make sure that Malcolm Ross is ready for what's going to happen.
I must leave within the next few days.
You're probably not going to be able to stay openly in the city after this. You know, the one you openly declare in, just for good measure. Should I plan to meet up with you, or should I plan to stay with the Talam forces to coordinate?
I'll leave that up to your discretion.
Do we have any kind of long-form magical communication?
No. There's no such thing as like setting stones or anything.
If only... Do I have a secret tunnel?
No,
No, but somebody else does.
somebody else does though, which you're gonna learn about.
Well, I am at least.
Oh.
Besides, I'm not sure if a secret tunnel would help you on a floating island.
No.
It would help you get to the bottom.
Very fast, actually. One might even say terminal velocity.
but I'll go handle the situation there. Make sure William is safe. Hopefully, though I don't know enough about this Council of Vermin you mentioned, but hopefully I can convince Lion and his group to be on board with what we're doing. But most likely, my prince, I won't see you again for some time. Between our separate travels and, well, to be frank, I think I will get caught up with the Ptolemites, barring the most.
You've had a very Ptolemite feel to you.
I don't see me being able to cross through the territory where I'll be extremely wanted for my connections with you and generally just being a pissant to the Magisters my entire period. To cross that, to get to wherever you guys are hiding out, to say, good work, the Ptolemites are going to work with us, and then run back. But I'll make sure that they don't do any danger to, they won't serve as a danger to Legala. I think, my prince, everything that's needed said has been said, and I'll pour Connor another drink.
Connor's going to enjoy the drink, and then he gets to go take care of things.
Yup.
This is the second time in the last 2 days. This is the second day in a row I've had to share a potential last drink with a longtime friend.
Yeah? Pouring one out for the homies.
Fuck, I need an actual drink.
So,
So, how about that Rinzu situation? And she needs to talk and do stuff, and I need to go back.
yeah, of course, yeah. So Beatrice and Rinzu got back to the manor a day previously. As in the throes of Richard having to say goodbye to all of his friends. And so yeah, you're here until Lynn gets back, and then the next day, and then shortly thereafter, Connor will show up and put plans in motion. And so yeah, Rinzu, you're pretty much just free to make yourself comfortable here. Like Beatrice would obviously set you up with like a room.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm feeling
And yeah.
because
Gonna go let a certain somebody know that I'm back.
What?
No,
What?
I know, right? No,
That's
it's
hard to
actually
believe.
Voluto.
Click click. Motherfucker.
Yeah, exactly. No, but she's gonna go to the place where Wes has been staying,
Yeah.
and she's going to do the knock.
And there's like you hear like a quiet acknowledgement of it. Come in.
And she'll open the door.
You're back. How did well, whatever you, how did that go?
Pretty well. I mean, nobody got hurt.
That's good. I'm glad that you're back safe. I hope this damned leg heals faster than a little bit faster so I can actually be of some use. I feel like I'm just taking up space and resources at the moment. And it's not helping anyone.